This ugly loser gets isekai'd into a new world, but instead of fixing his face, he sacrifices his looks to gain god-level powers, infinite skills, unstoppable strength, and somehow, he still ends up rizzing every girl he meets. But there is one major problem in this new world. If he even touches any female, then he could die. The story begins and we see our main character, Yoshioka Shigeru, taking bath. As he washes up, we hear his inner thoughts. I know, and everyone else knows too, that my face is ugly, really ugly. But just because I don't look good doesn't mean I don't do my job well. I work really hard. My goal is always the same: make my customers smile whether they're paying customers or not. I don't care. I won't let anyone down. He goes on. Naturally, I'm not exactly popular with girls. Still, life was going fine until that day. That's when everything fell apart. In the next scene, we see Shigeru was carrying some bags in a train when suddenly, a girl accuses him of molestation, and out of nowhere she started shouting, "He touched me." Shigeru was stunned and he tries to explain, "I didn't do anything. Can't you see? Both my hands are full. How could I even touch you?" But no one listens to him as he was ugly. The crowd just wanted to throw him out of the train. Inside, his thoughts were spiraling. No one will believe me. Not with this face. That's the thing, ugly people don't get treated fairly in this world. In the next scene, we see Shigeru in court because of the false accusation. He was dragged into a trial. The court doesn't even bother listening to his side and slaps him with a massive fine of 300,000 yen, and to top it off, his company fires him. Just like that, his life starts crumbling. Years pass and then one day, news breaks that the same girl who falsely accused Shigeru has been arrested. Turns out she had done this to several other guys too. She had a thing against ugly men, apparently. But because she was underage, she was let off easily and released early. This sends Shigeru into a silent rage, but what could he even do? He tries to find work, but no one was ready to hire him. Ever since that false accusation, the trauma's been eating me alive. I've forgotten how to live normally. No one talks to me anymore. 6 years pass and we see that Shigeru has now shut himself in his room. No job, no social life. He spent all his savings and now borrows from his parents. He was at rock bottom of his life. Then one day he sees something on the news, a string of disappearances. People were vanishing without a trace. Curious, Shigeru digs deeper as some claim that it's kidnappings. Others say something weirder was going on. That's when he stumbles upon an article claiming, "You can travel to another world." Shigeru starts laughing and says, "What a story! Like that's possible." But as he lies down again, the thought lingers. He remembers something he read. If you turn on your computer at exactly 2 a.m., face it north, open your window, raise both hands, and wait, then you could travel to another world. At first, he brushes it off but then thinks, what do I have to lose? So he tries it. At exactly 2 a.m., his screen flickers and a message pops up. Do you want to travel to another world? If yes, click next. But remember, you'll have to give up half your lifespan to return. Shigeru freezes and confused he wonders, is this some kind of virus? He clicks around and a status screen appears. He sees that he can customize everything: his age, attributes, even his looks. He notices that if he enters this new world, he'll be 16 years old again. Then he sees the looks stat, currently set to 5, and he can adjust it. So, just to test it, he drops his looks stat all the way down to -255. The moment he does that, his bonus attribute points shoot up to 13,000. Shigeru stares at the screen, stunned. Wait, did lowering my looks give me all these extra points? Now Shigeru had tons of bonus points to spend, and now he drastically reduces his earning stat of money he'll earn in this new world, and that instantly gives him even more attribute points. Then he adds something pretty extreme. If I ever touch a girl, I'll lose 10% of my HP. And if I ever do anything with a girl, you know, the kind of stuff people do at night, I'll die on the spot. He also cranks up his growth rate and experience gain boost to the max. But all he could do was only to write all of these things in special notes. Interestingly, he doesn't even use any of his attribute points. He just clicks next, but before he could use his bonus points to unlock skills, time runs out, and just like that, he gets pulled into the other world. He wakes up and sees his reflection in a mirror. The moment he does, he freaks out and says, wait, is this really me? My looks are absolutely wrecked. That's when he notices a guy and 2 girls standing nearby. One of them asks, oh, you're finally up? Seeing them, Shigeru gets flustered and wonders, who are these people? The other guy notices that the girls are shivering, so he takes off his shirt and offers it to one of them. Shigeru sees that and decides to do the same. He takes off his shirt and offers it to the other girl, but she immediately refuses. Shigeru thinks to himself, so even in this world, people judge you by your looks. Then the boy introduces himself. My name's Seiji, I'm 16. One of the girls chimes in, I'm 16 too. But she doesn't say her name, then the other girl then adds, I'm Saika, also 16. So Shigeru says, I'm 16 too. While the others start chatting with each other, Shigeru quietly walks away. He says to himself, I didn't come here to make friends. He opens a small shelf nearby and finds a coin inside. But the moment he picks it up, it vanishes. He mutters, right? I lowered my earnings stat. That's probably why the coin disappeared. In the next scene, we see that the group find their starter supplies of clothes, weapons, and a bit of money. Seiji suggests, let's divide everything into 4 equal parts. Shigeru picks up a set of clothes and says, these might not fit me, but somehow they do fit him perfectly. Then others also find that their clothes fit them perfectly regardless of how they looked. They realize, these must be magical outfits. So this really is another world. Seiji then says, we can split the items and weapons evenly, but there are 7 gold coins. How do we divide those? He glances around suspiciously and asks, did someone already take a coin? Then he looks directly at Shigeru and asks, was it you? Shigeru doesn't answer because he accidentally made one disappear earlier. He tells them, I don't need the money. You guys split it among yourselves. The others were about to protest, but Saika steps in and says, forget it, we'll split it. We were the ones who found it anyway. Hearing all this, Shigeru thinks to himself, I left that coin on purpose. I was actually the first one to pick it up. He then says out loud, you guys take the money, just give me an axe as my weapon in return. But Saika immediately shuts him down and says, you don't get to decide that. Seiji steps in and adds, if you keep acting like this, you're gonna fail again. Shigeru looks at him, confused, and asks, what are you even talking about? Seiji apologizes, sorry, I was mostly talking about myself. I've always had trouble communicating with people. I'm hoping that in this second life, I can overcome that problem. I see a bit of myself in you, and that's why I spoke up. You struggle to connect too, don't you? Let's use this chance to change that about ourselves. Shigeru hears this and thinks, dude, you're already talking just fine. In the next scene, they all play rock paper scissors to decide who gets what weapon. Seiji ends up with the axe, Saika gets a bow and arrow, the second girl receives a small tiger companion, and Shigeru gets stuck with just a short stick. After that, Seiji walks over and holds out his hand to Shigeru and says, come on, let's shake hands. But Shigeru refuses and thinks, I'm not here to make friends, I don't want to get hurt again. That's why I'll stay alone in this world. Besides, I can survive solo. I gave up my looks in exchange for some seriously powerful skills. In the next scene, Seiji shows everyone a map and says, let's head to the town of Iria first, it's the closest one, and everyone agrees. They ask Shigeru if he's coming and he replies, yeah, I'll go. But in his mind he thinks, once we're on the way, I'll ditch them halfway. As they open the gate to leave, a monster suddenly appears. Saika freaks out at the sight of it, but Seiji charges in without hesitation and takes it down with his axe. Shigeru was impressed and thinks, wow, he really moved fast. But then even more monsters appear, heading straight for them. Seiji motivates the group saying, we've got weapons, we can handle this. He turns to Saika and says, ready your bow. There's no string on it yet. Then he asks Shigeru to support her, and Seiji rushes off with the second girl to engage the incoming monsters. They start taking them down one by one. Meanwhile, Saika fumbles with her bow, unable to even attach the string. Watching this, Shigeru thinks, what's the point of choosing a weapon you can't even use? Just then, a monster sneaks up behind him and attacks. Seiji, seeing this, yells from a distance, crap, one monster got through. Shigeru gets clearly annoyed and yells back, it would have been nice to tell me earlier, genius. But then he adds, don't worry, I'm strong, I've got this. He swings his stick at the goblin, and nothing happens. The monster shrugs it off and keeps attacking. Saika watches and mutters, you're pretty weak, huh? The goblin strikes Shigeru hard in the leg and knocks him down. He stares up and thinks, wait, am I actually weak? How is this possible? That's when it hits him. He never got to use his bonus attribute points before the timer ran out. And now he was really pissed. Fueled by frustration, he lashes out and hits the monster with everything he's got, and the goblin easily goes down. Suddenly, a pop-up appears on his screen, level up. Shigeru blinks and thinks, I leveled up from just one monster? Then he looks again and realizes that he hasn't just leveled up once, he's leveled up 31 times. He remembers, oh right, I set my experience gain boost to some insane number in the special notes. Turns out, he had cranked it up to 10,000. Meanwhile, Seiji and the second girl finish off a bunch of goblins and level up as well. They start using their stat points to upgrade their skills. Shigeru watches this and thinks, "Man, I've got way more points than they do." So he dumps trillions of points into every single stat he has. Yes, you heard it right, trillions. Strength, stamina, defense, everything shoots through the roof. And then his class changes from human to Almighty God. Shigeru has now literally became a god. Meanwhile, the goblin keeps trying to attack him, but now, nothing affects him. His HP bar was practically infinite. He smirks, "I put 1,000,000,000,000 points into strength. It's right time to use it." He flicks the goblin with just one finger, and it goes flying, crashing into the distance with such force that shockwaves ripple through the area. But then he notices that Saika is still struggling with her bow. She hasn't even attached the string yet. Saika starts to cry in frustration, and that's when Shigeru can't watch anymore. He walks over and gently says, "Give me your bow." She looks at him in surprise. He continues, "This bow, it's asking me to be the one to tie the string. Please, let me do it." So she agrees and hands him the bow. Shigeru says, "Back when I was stuck inside my house, I watched a video about how to tie bowstrings. Then, just like that, he attaches the string properly." Saika watches this and gets impressed. She asks him, "Were you part of an archery club or something?" Shigeru casually replies, "Yeah, kind of." Hearing that, she hands him an arrow and says, "Well, if that's the case, take a shot. Show me what you got." Shigeru agrees, thinking that it's worth a try. He quickly levels up his archery skill and fires the arrow. But instead of flying straight, the arrow shoots straight up into the sky. He stares at it, baffled. He thinks, "What was that? Was my aim off?" Then something unexpected happens. As the arrow disappears into the sky, a strange spell activates in the air and everyone stares in shock, as a dragon emerges made entirely of lightning appears from the sky. The lightning dragon swoops down and obliterates all the goblins in one massive blast. Everyone's jaws drop seeing a dragon. Meanwhile, Shigeru tries to play it cool, saying, I was in the archery club for a bit." Saika nods, "Alright then. I'll handle the rest now." But just as they relax, even more goblins show up from the other side. And as soon as Saika sees them, she rushes forward to fight. She unleashes arrow after arrow, but none of them hit the goblins. Seiji watches this and turns to the second girl, saying, "We can't count on her. Let's take care of them ourselves." She agrees, and the two of them run off to fight on their own. Saika watches helplessly and frustrated. She says, "I'm completely useless, even my arrows are gone." Shigeru sees this and feels bad for her again. So, he uses one of his skills that transforms pieces of woods nearby into arrows. Then, quietly, without saying anything, he sneaks over and drops the arrows near her, and slips away before she notices. Then he calls out, "Hey look, there's something on the ground over there." Saika sees arrows lying there and lights up. She rushes over, picks up the arrows, and instantly starts firing them everywhere aimlessly again without holding back. In the next scene, they manage to defeat all the remaining monsters. Now, the path was clear and they were finally ready to head into town. Once they arrive, they realize that the group was starving, so they head straight into a restaurant, where they're serving hamburgers. Everyone goes inside except Shigeru. He stays outside watching them. He thinks to himself, "They aren't bad people, but I think it's time I said goodbye." Saying this, he walks away, heading toward a fountain. His stomach was still growling. Just then, a cat appears. Shigeru looks at it and smiles. "You're alone too, huh? Just like me." He reaches out to pet it but suddenly stops. "Wait, if I touch a girl, I lose 10% of my HP. What if this cat is actually a girl?" And right then, Saika appears behind him out of nowhere. Startled, Shigeru falls into the fountain. He then asks her, "What do you want now?" Saika smiles and holds up a massive hamburger. "I brought this for you. You helped me out earlier, so think of this as a thank you." Shigeru hesitates as he was unsure, but he was also really hungry. Seeing his hesitation, Saika teases him, "Come on, you don't even have any money. Just take it." Shigeru finally gives in and reaches out to take it but accidentally touches her hand in the process. And since Saika was a girl, Shigeru takes massive damage just by touching her finger.